Yes, sir. We are live now, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Good morning. Good afternoon to all. Yeah. So, any questions? Please feel free to come up with your views, suggestions, and all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, this AI you have mentioned in the Constitution, AI, sorry, in
Yeah.
one of the lectures. Yes.
Mm.
So you mentioned that you have not going deep into because it is not the subject matter. But then in one of the other lectures, you have also mentioned about how technology can be used to the society can change even without going into the other problems. Just technology can give solutions. So, so in that sense, I think, sir, that is also a very important aspect which has to be understood. So, can you give us some like how to read further? Like, can you
Okay.
give some reference? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I will do that. I'll do that. See, basically, there are two things here. One is that in a course like this, it has to cover a good number of themes and good number of ideas and developments without getting too much details or without getting too deep into it. That's the first point. The second point is that some issues like AI and constitution are evolving in the sense that we have people have started writing about it. There is an evolving literature, and then there's a lot of discussion. But then that happens not just in the context of India, but also in other countries as well. So I touched upon these things in this course just to highlight certain things. For example, if you look at it, AI and rule of law, I did mention about it in this course in detail as to how AI can impact rule of law. At the same time, I also talked about the broader implication of AI and technology for rule of law and constitution. Specifically, if you are looking at Constitution of India and DIA, there's a good volume which I will circulate. I mean, I will put it up in the group, or I'll ask the Mr. Elizar to share with the details. But then there is an evolving literature on it. So the best thing is that you can quickly go through the suggested literature which has been given as part of the course, as well as in the introduction. In the introduction text, you will find about 10 suggested things. And then I will share more. I will share them with Mr. Elizar, who will be sending it to you all. Thank you. There is some background noise. I think someone is talking. Please stop that.
Reena Bishnoi ji is unmuted.
लाइफ में करोगे करने अच्छा हाँ नहीं ये तो ठीक है अच्छा ठीक है ठीक
Yeah, you can ask your doubts in this. There is no Please go ahead. You can chat. I mean,
one more
put it in
question,
the
sir.
chat box, or you can just talk.
Sir, one more question. So you have in detail given about the China, how China is using AI in
That is more an
the
introduction. That is more an introduction because there are two problems here. One is that lot of literature available in China is available only in Chinese. You don't get very good English translations, although they have done extensive work on AI and law and justice, in the sense that their technologically they have gone much ahead of us. The second problem is that much of what we get is more descriptive than analytical or a critical studies. So taking these two into account, I've just introduced you certain developments as to what are they planning and what are they doing. But if you dig further, you will be able to locate a lot of new resources and new materials, particularly on how they are planning to govern AI and then how they plan to use AI in various sectors. But then the objective of the course is not that. Objective is to more to introduce you to certain things and ask you to think and then look for materials further by yourself.
So my question is there any international agency which is we have competition, all the countries come together and they share their own experience. So is there any agency which is dealing in AI
वो
in
खाली मेरे
judiciary?
को सब हो रहा था प्लम्बर के पास गया बेचारे
No, I think there is some background noise. Some
उसका
people
झोला उधर ही पड़ा था
don't do that.
कभी इसे उतारने गया हुआ तो उसका पुल से नीचे
I'm
गिर
not able to
झोला
listen.
वो झोला उठे चल दिया
I think Gaurang ji, some participants are
इसका
unmuted.
नंबर लिया अभी फोन
If
किया ऐसे ही
admin can mute
अरे तो
them,
मेरा चाबी लेके
then
चला गया बोला नहीं भाई मैं चाबी लाया नहीं गलती से
Dr. Reena Bishwai, Neerav Patel.
देके जाते थे
No, please mute. I think there's a lot of crosstalk going on, background noise.
दूसरा तो रहता है किंग से रहता है उसे बराबर निकलता है उधर इससे चलो बढ़िया है
Yeah, basically, you see, the thing is, there are a lot of examples and case studies, but then there is no single agency that looks them or that compels them. For the simple reason, different applications have different objectives and then different goals. That's the first point. Second point, often in such things, beyond a point, when things are done by the private agency or private sector, you won't get access to the core issue or what exactly is the algorithm they developed or how they deployed that. You would get only a description, and then there are a lot of used studies or case studies about AI in law and justice, but then nobody wants to compile them because it's very difficult to compile what all is happening across 100 countries in the world. Then even if we compile, nobody can simply say that we have cross-verified or we have cross-checked. This is how it is. So it is very difficult. Of course, there are some initiatives like UNESCO is doing on AI and rule of law and justice, where they train judges, where they come up with some manuals and all. And then UN University is also doing some work. But then it is again left to the countries because globally there is no AI treaty or the AI convention or anything. Of course, there are some good standards which are evolving. So it is very difficult to even think that some agency should really do it because it's not a question of technical competency. It's also a question of how much details the countries want to share, and then what exactly they will be sharing unless you are able to cross verify and cross check. It will be just a descriptive of what they have given.
Good morning, sir. Manish here. I have a question not related to exactly to the topic, but I am a 12 years cybersecurity working in industrial sector. We call it as OT cybersecurity. However, my long-term plan is to move towards law firms in India and practice cyber laws. So what could be the, best approach to take this up?
No, again, cybersecurity is a very fast developing area, which something or which sub problem you want to address makes a difference in the sense that whether you want to look at it more towards policy or regulation perspective, or more from a technical perspective, or exactly like what is the problem you want to address. Because There could be any number of problems that could overlap between technology and policy, or there could be pure technical issues, pure technical problems, or problems that are more important from, from the point of view of people who deal with them on a day-to-day basis. For example, cyber crime, investigation, cyber forensics and all. So it depends on what exactly is your focus. And then once you arrive at something very specific, look at whether anything has been done on it. And then if nothing has been done, or what has been done is very preliminary nature, there is need to build up further, then take it up. So I don't think there's any dearth of issues or dearth of problems to be looked into. But what is the objective, and then what is the time frame and other things you need to factor. That's all.
Sir, Nupur Vaidya here. I'm a law student,
Yeah.
and I wanted to ask that now we, as a law students, we are taught how to draft arguments or manual work, which could be easily done by AI. So again, should we learn the traditional drafting work, or should we just start learning how prompts work or how the algorithms work to get our work done? And then if there is any issues with it, so are the law students who use the AI responsible, or the people who form the algorithms, are they responsible? So yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
No, see, there are issues in using the AI tools. There are a lot of law firms which use specific AI tools for drafting. In fact, making the preliminary drafting and then editing them and revising them is one of the important applications of AI in law, and then law firms use it. But there are two prominent issues which come here. One, the question of hallucinations. The drafting itself may contains grave errors or errors like wrong citations or references to cases that were not there, or could be wrong interpretation. The case cited could be right, it could be there in the literature, but then the interpretation of the points from that could be wrong. So someone has to really vet them, literally going line by line, sentence by sentence, and then to see whether the draft is really coherent, it makes sense, it can be applied, or it can be submitted to the court. That's the first point. Then the second point is that drafting is a skill. It could be done by AI, it could be done by AI tools effectively and efficiently. There's no doubt about it. But what happens, or what will happen, is that since it's a very basic skill for preliminary skill for lawyers who practice law at different stages, it is something important where we cannot simply lay that to the mission to decide or to simply go about it. Because ultimately drafting also involves logical thinking, analytical thinking, and then how to draft, how to write something coherently. That will be very helpful in arguing and then making assignments or making cases before the judges. So tools can be used provided we know their limitations, provided we take responsibility. In the sense that ultimately the responsibility lies with the lawyer or with the person who makes a submission to the court in his or her name or in the firm's name. There can be no deviation on that. Ultimately, humans will be liable. The people who develop the systems will not be liable, nor the ones who simply, use them thinking that, AI system does everything fine. So I need to simply, do some preliminary checking and then sign off. That will never work. So in fact, the courts will be very, very stringent if they find, or if they may even throw out the affidavit or whatever the thing you submit to them, if they find that there are wrong citations, non-existent citations, or the interpretations of some of the things are wrong. So you have to be doubly cautious when you use AI tools, because when you do manually or when you do thinking, you would have done the preliminary checking, you know what to say, you know how to say that. But then when you rely entirely on AI, you cannot, discard your responsibility and then shrug off your responsibility and say that I relied on AI. So it is very difficult to use AI tools beyond a point.
Thank you, sir.
Mm. Mm.
Hello, sir. Once again, Manish. I have been in contact with NALSAR University for cyber law related courses, which they offer online.
Okay.
But will it be helpful in my career to boost it further where I want to practice in future after having LLB degree in India about the cyber law?
Cyber law is a very important developing area. It will be really helpful. And then again, it depends upon what exactly your objectives are. In the sense that you want to practice and specialize in this area, or you are part of a larger firm, or you are part of a larger legal group which specialize on that. But even otherwise, getting acquainted with cyber laws is important today for any lawyer, because cyber law is something which you cannot wish away, in the sense that it is going to be more important in future, particularly when you think of cyber crimes, when you think of the way multiple ways cyber security, cyber laws, cyber forensics are becoming important parts of the larger criminal law system. So better to start looking at it, better to start learning at it at this stage itself. But again, to specialize that or not is your choice. But having a good exposure will be really helpful, because suddenly you may be asked to deal with a case where there is some sort of cyber law involved or some sort of cyber forensics involved. Then you need not begin from scratch. This background, whatever you have learned in a course, will be very helpful in that. And of course, I mean, any learning in law is not something that will be applicable only a specific thing, because a lot of things are cross-referencing, a lot of things you would need expertise or basic knowledge in more than one sub-discipline. So you please go ahead and do it.
Good morning, sir. This is Raja Vignesh, research scholar.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I saw your comment in the chat box. See, on predictive policing, just because one person has done a PhD, that doesn't mean there is no need to do further. There are different types of predictive policing, ranging from looking at it from a very legal perspective as to, is it legal to use predictive policing in India? If so, what are the constraints? It could be from human rights perspective. It could be from the way, I mean, technology is being applied, and then what are the checks and balances we would need if predicting policing is to be regulated. And also there could be a PhD on policy, in the sense that how other countries are using, what are the implications of using predictive policing in India when we are not so technologically equipped to do that. So what framework we need to develop to ensure that predictive policing is done within the constitutional framework, and then with accountability and responsibility. There are any number of topics one can choose. Of course, this again is a developing area, lot of technological developments happening, and then predictive policing can also be something which you can really look into as to whether should India go for it at this stage without any regulation, or should we regulate first and then go into predictive policing. So there are any number of themes you can choose.
Thank you, sir. But I have particularly chosen upon the investigation procedures which the police people can implement
Yeah, you
with the help of
can
predictive.
look at how predictive policing is compatible with the typical criminal investigation or not. And if so, what are the real things that need to be brought in? The sense that how we should bring in certain limitations or certain restraints as to go that predictive policing does not become overboard, or does not become too broad, or does not end up in targeting specific areas and specific people. So there are any number of things you can work on. About the career opportunities, there are a lot of career opportunities emerging, because now obviously most of the big firms are using AI in one way or other. So anyone who is trained in that will have a better opportunity. But again, even if you are going to be an independent practitioner, having an exposure to AI in law will be really helpful, in the sense that a lot of things will be happening more online, like online ADR, online mediation, as well as digital courts, or be part and parcel of the law and justice in future. So yes, there are good opportunities are there.
Thank you, sir. One last doubt. What kind of predictive policy tools can be implemented by the Indian police officers,
That you
according to
need to
you?
really do a PhD to find it out. because it's again in a very emerging area. There is a lot of literature available as to what other countries are doing. But then this again is not something one can answer offhand, because you have to really frame some research question, do some preliminary analysis, do some field work, and then come up with a research. These are the things I want to look into, and then do a PhD. Because this is not something that can be answered in a paragraph or in a page or one or two.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your answers. Yeah. Thank you so much.
बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ लास्ट ऑनलाइन क्लास चल रहा है
No, without any law degree, can I get into artificial intelligence ethics and compliance? If yes, then how? Actually, to get into artificial intelligence and compliance, you don't need a law degree, because there are lots of firms which do this. For example, major consulting firms like E&Y, McKinsey, they do a lot of AI compliance and AI ethics, and then they also look into evaluate systems for various standards, various compliance mechanisms. So basically, you don't need a law degree, but again, it depends on, for example, someone who is trained in a specific technical field, whether process engineering or software engineering, can also do the same thing, provided they get exposed, they get experience into it. So you don't need a law degree to get into AI ethics and compliance, but this again depends from sector to sector. For example, financial sector, the rules may be very different. There you won't need a law degree, but you would need good exposure and experience in fintech as well as in use of AI in financial sector. So it is more sectoral oriented, technical skill oriented, and then how familiar or how much you have been trained in AI ethics and compliance than just law. Law is just only one component. That's a very broad one.
So this is Munmun Upadhyay. Actually, I'm having a question. Do you feel that in cyber crimes committing in India, the AI has a major role in it?
It does, because obviously the more cyber crimes proliferate, the more sophisticated the crimes are going to be. AI will have the role, because AI can give lot of tools to prevent cyber crimes, to investigate them, and sometimes even to anticipate them or to foresee that what types of crimes could be committed. So AI definitely will have a role. There's no doubt about it. Only thing is that what exactly you want to learn or what exactly you want to do in that, because cyber crime and cyber security is again a major developing area. So you cannot simply talk in broad terms into it. Which specific theme, for example, cyber forensics or cyber evidence or cyber security or what exactly you want to look into it, or what exactly you want to get trained, also makes a huge difference.
Sure, very good morning. This is Chandradeep Ittal. I have a question. May I ask, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Right now in current era, sir, the AI and the cyber security is the one of the biggest things. The each and everyone is a digital consumer right now, from the childhood to the most of the each person also. So the biggest threat and biggest problem is in the every hand. What could be the step followed by the government or the administrative person, so that can protect by each and every hand, not
No,
on
I
by
think
the
there are
one.
two people talking here, please. Only one person should talk. There's a lot of crosstalk going on.
May I repeat the question, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, this is the digital era, and each and every person, from teenager to the old age, everyone is a digital consumer. Everyone using AI, and everyone facing cyber threat and cyber security. So, what should be the policy by the governing committee to secure the each and every persons through this threat on his level right now in the basic level, not in the legal, not by the legal persons, by the governmental policy, so that largest of the community, largest of the people be a safe in using a digital platform and everything.
No, this is a very complex question because ultimately, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with the technology on one hand, and what do you want the government to do with the technology on the other hand? If you really want that government should monitor, should really find out what all you are doing with technology, what AI tools you are using, what digital tools you are doing, then that will result in a totalitarian state, which is just not possible and desirable. And of course, it has got a lot of other implications. Second, on specific issues like online safety, on specific issues like cyber safety or cyber crimes, there are specific rules and laws. You cannot have a broad framework, or you cannot have a simple law that can tackle each and every issue that arises from digital use of digital phones or digital technology. It has to be very problem oriented, specific one that also meshes well with the broader criminal law or the broader regulatory one. So you cannot have a simple and a single solution for this complex problem. And of course, many things will evolve more through trial and error, more through practice and all. For example, how do we control deepfake? There is no consensus. There is no specific laws that are specifically on deepfakes. But then some of the available laws can be applied to deepfakes easily, provided we know that you first identify the problem, you first identify what exactly is the crime that has been committed, and then invoke the right sections, and then argue it before a court. So this is more an evolving one, but don't expect an omnibus or a one single solution or a simple solution to this complex problem.
Hello,
Thanks
sir.
for
Sir, hello, this is Mohammed Furkan.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question regarding the this is a general trend, like in every field, like in every sector, there is a risk of like AI can kill the job, AI can end the so many job. Like what is the possibility that AI can kill the job in this law and justice sector, like litigation, judge, like what
It
would be like
depends. It
how can
depends
you
on
go deep into this
how
field?
much of AI is being used. To say something very specific, AI can take over many of the preliminary or the jobs, traditional jobs, which a junior lawyer can do, in the sense that it can do many things which a junior lawyer can do much efficiently. But then there are risks, then there are issues of responsibility, and then there are larger issues of, in the sense that how much of AI we want to use in law and justice. So if you look at employment, or if you look at that, it could work both ways, in the sense that you are a larger firm, you want to use AI tools effectively, then we can expand your business, you can diversify into more areas where you can take in more people, bring in more experts, or people with a wide variety of legal training and then background experience. But for a small lawyer, who survives on things which otherwise AI could do, or which otherwise no people can easily go to AI, or firms which can offer those services, it could be a real struggle, in the sense that you specialize or you do only one, something like, I apply only for bail, or I do only preliminary drafting and filing. So those people who rely on only one or two things where AI can be really effective will really suffer, because they won't have anything else to do. But in a larger context, it is too difficult to predict as to what sort of impact it will have. It could also mean that AI may demand new skills. AI may empower lawyers with more sophisticated tools to do their jobs in a much more better, efficient way, as well as very effectively, they'll be able to handle more number of clients as well. So it's dicey, in the sense that one cannot simply say that only this will happen or only that will happen.
Yes, sir. Like in the course, like we have also studied that the AI, like the decision making process, like there is a no check and balance, like from where the decision is coming, and like this is a big fault in this whole AI era.
But then AI we are not using in a decision making in the judicial sector.
In
Total we
future,
are
if we are
using it, it could be the law firms that could be using. That again is up to them to take the risk, or up to them to ensure that the risk they take is really worth taking. That's all.
Yes.
No
Sir,
judges
but
using AI tools to write judgments or to give judgments.
Yes, sir.
Sir Nupur again. Sir, will in future there be cases where an AI tool or an AI driven person could stand against a human being, like an actual human being?
We don't know because law as of now does not recognize AI as a legal person or a person with agency. But what may happen in future, we may not know because if we expand the scope of a person or a legal person or a person with the agency and autonomy as AI, then it could be totally different. But then there again, who exactly that AI or the AI tool represents, or does it really have agency, or is it a substitute for something else? We won't know. So this is a very highly speculative area for which we don't know the right questions or the right answers as of now.
So, but sir, can I come in this question just because few questions. So in the traffic challans, you see what is happening. All the challans are being generated in mass. Thousands and lakhs of challans are automatically being generated. But in the law, it is a very specific power given to a specific ranked person. But now this AI has taken over and is doing, and it is not a hypothetical thing. It is actually happening, and AI is being used by government to just to generate more from the people, and not being used for the benefit, but just to punish people and all those things. So what do you think, sir? In the
No.
traffic
I
challan?
think there is a misconception here. Mere use of AI without any evidence or without proof, I mean, that will never work. For example, if you are fined for a traffic violation or if you are fined for something using AI tool, and if you think it can be contested, you can always contest. What they do is that they use AI to automate certain processes, to do certain things, but then again, the final responsibility is with the police department or with the persons who issues those notices or who issues those challans. So it is not that the moment AI comes, you get lakhs and lakhs of challans. AI helps, recognition technology, all these cameras, they help in precisely locating where the violation has happened. Based upon that, they come up with challans, they come up with notices, which again can be contested, which again can be questioned. So it is not that the proliferation of AI itself has become something that has been used to harass people. But still, it is the responsibility of the police. You won't sue the AI as such. You will sue only the police or the government which is using it. So still, the issue is that responsibility or the buck stops with the government or with the police department. It is not that AI has taken over everything.
Hi, sir. Rohit this side. I have one question regarding these judicial decision supporting tools like SuperSay and others. I mean, there's one tool named as IBPS, Indian Bail Prediction System. I mean, yeah. So these kind of tools would code be using, or what would be the future of these kind of AI tools, sir?
No, sorry, I didn't get your question. There is some crosstalk going on here. I don't know, I mean, why it happens.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my question was regarding this judicial decision support tools like SuperSay and others. There's one tool, IBPS, Indian Bail Prediction System, which I think was started by some IIT Kanpur and Symbiosis legal schools, wherein bail prediction is being done. I mean, will these kind of tools be used by the courts lately, or how do you see the
We
future of these
don't
kind
know,
of tools?
but right now the policy is that courts are very specific, or at least the Supreme Court is very specific that no AI tool will be used to give judgments or in decision making. See, if the judges use AI tools to understand or to make a background analysis or to get a better understanding of what all the issues involved, that could be something which could be unofficial. But then you won't find any judgment where this is specifically referred to. But in future, predictive analysis, the courts may not be really interested in, because the idea of the courts is to give judgments, hear the arguments, look at the cases, facts, and the context, and then give judgments. So how the judgment will turn out to be will be more of interest to the litigants as well to the government or to the other people, not to the courts themselves. But again, courts can use such a tool to figure out as to what extent the judgments can be predicted in the sense that what is the predictability in the way judges look at things, or what is the predictability in the way judges arrive at whether one is a convict or one should be acquitted and all. So it would be useful more as an academic one than as a decision-making tool. And then when it comes to academic, of course, it's left to the courts or it is left to the Supreme Court to draw certain guidelines or certain parameters as to what they should use or what they should do deal with that. In the sense that you cannot simply say, I use this predictive tool, and then since this predictive tool said there is a probability of 95% conviction in such cases, I relied on it and then wrote this judgment. Such a thing would not be accepted at all. Rather, out of interest or out of academic need, court itself may use certain tools to identify some patterns in logical thinking, patterns in decision making, and patterns in the way courts themselves structure their arguments as well as the judgments. So it is possible, but then that will not be the one that will decide how the judges will write the judgments.
Thank you, sir.
So I would like to
Good
ask.
morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Am I
I will
audible?
just reply to one question which has just popped up. Just give me 1 minute. How AI can be helpful in deciding the consumer case in the predecessor country where a member of the law background in the consumer commission? See, I don't think you really need AI in consumer cases because consumer cases often are not very complex. They are more looking into the facts, what exactly the complaint is, whether that complaint is valid, or what exactly the Consumer Protection Act says. To do that, you don't need big AI. It is more a question of typical case where even if the member is not doesn't have a law background, there are other members, others can help. And then of course, more obvious is that even to understand what AI can do, a consumer commission member without law background may not be the right person. So AI will be helpful in deciding only complex cases or when we want to automate computer cases. But I don't think in the right now the time has come to use AI in consumer cases because the consumer cases typically in India are not all that complex, where you need complex AI to decide or to help the commission members to decide. Yeah, please go ahead. But then
Yes,
medical
sir.
negligence is not something where AI can deal. Medical negligence is a more a question of how the current act or how the current regulations are binding and then what exactly they say. In fact, AI in health is only picking up, is only taking up available only in a very limited now. So that has not become a major theme in medical negligence. If that happens in future, for example, an AI tool misdiagnosed or based on a misdiagnosis of an AI tool, a wrong procedure was done or a wrong medicine was prescribed, then the consumer courts will have to look into it. But then right now there are no guidelines into it and then limited application of AI specifically in healthcare and diagnostics does not warrant the consumer commissions to get into those cases right now.
So may I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I was asking you how could what would you suggest that how could a law student go forward with the new evolutions in technology and law? How could we study it?
It depends on what exactly you want to do. I mean, if you really want to specialize in that, or you want to join a law firm where there's a good scope for such a practice, you should go for an LLM in law and technology, or you should specialize further in law and technology in a specific area. That's the one option. Second option is that if you really want to start practice specializing in law and technology, better to get equipped with better LLM degree or a higher degree. Preferably, I mean, you can go abroad and learn and then do that. And if you want to do independent practice or you want to get some sort of specialized practice, that's also possible. Or you want to get into academics or you want to do a lot of theoretical and practical work in the sense that, you want to join firms which produce legal tech software. That is also possible. And for that to begin with, your LLB or LLM degree is good enough, provided you get trained in the job or you work with the developers or you work with people who may design various AI systems. So again, it's left to your choices, what exactly your career objectives are and what you want to do if you really want to specialize in this field.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you please highlight more about the concept of digital constitutionalism, especially in the Indian context, how it shapes or redefines our fundamental rights in this
I
digital?
can, but then I'm afraid that this is not the right forum to discuss that. What I can do is that if you send me an email, I can send you some background literature or something to go upon. But understand one thing: digital constitutionalism itself is a very new nascent area which is again developing fast. And the Indian context, not much work has been done. There is good scope to do that, particularly in the sense of digital constitutionalism rights as well as responsibilities, as well as how we want to envisage the digital technologies, particularly AI, to be broadly deployed in the society. So what exactly digital constitutionalism mean in a society that is becoming a fast digital society is a very complex question. If you send an email, I can refer to some literature which you can go through and then start looking at what sort of discussions are happening in that field.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can write to me. My email ID will be shared, and we can get it either from Mr. Rilison or from Madam Padma Priya. They will be able to give you my email ID. You can write to them.
Sir, good morning, sir. I am Anne. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Yeah.
I am currently pursuing my PhD in artificial intelligence and Indian judiciary with special reference to Kerala.
Artificial intelligence and
Indian judiciary. I mean,
okay,
and judiciary, and I'm limiting it to Kerala.
Okay.
Okay. So right now, the Kerala High Court and the judiciary and the district judiciary, they use mostly like AI tools for taking depositions and all those things only, not as such into decision making. So do you know any other High Court or any other judiciary, part of judiciary using AI for any other purpose than these minor tasks?
I'm not aware, but there could be some certain things which could be being done unofficially or not being brought to in the sense the public notice. But Orissa High Court had done excellent work in digitization of judgments and records, and then different high courts have different priorities. So what you do or what you are working on Kerala High Court or what is happening use of AI in Kerala is very important. It is something that is very pioneering. I wish you all the best in that. You can write to me. We can be in touch on that. But don't look at what is happening in India. Look at what is happening elsewhere. Because that is from where you will get a lot of insight. That is from where you will, particularly the common law countries, what exactly is happening, what is in UK, in Canada, what exactly is happening in some of the other countries where law and technology is being used more extensively, including AI in judiciary. There will be much more relevant and then much more interesting than looking at what is happening in India. Because in India, we are slowly moving towards e-courts phase 3, but then there again, the role of AI is very limited.
Yes,
or the role of AI has not been expanded further to make the full utilization of the available tools. So you may not get a lot of good examples or case studies from India, but there are many things which are happening all over in the world, which you can, in the sense that refer to, you can write to me, we can discuss that. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, in AI proceedings, in other countries, some accidents are happening. Like AI-driven cars are there. If the accident is done by AI, who will be liable to compensate the consumer or some ex-person? Who will be
It
the...
depends on, for example, some of the things are very hypothetical. For the main reason, not all countries have autonomous car without drivers, and then not all countries have specific legislation to look into the AI risks. The EU has got an extensive AI Act which deals with some of them, Many countries are just developing or rather, trying to regulate certain things. So this is a very fast developing area in which there are no specific ground rules where each country will follow them. Again, it's very contextual. Again, it also depends upon to what extent AI can be held responsible for it. For example, AI cannot be held responsible for certain mechanical defects or the fundamental defects in a system. So what exactly is the AI's role or contribution again makes a huge difference. So this is again a very context driven or a context specific question for which there cannot be a general answer. No, regarding the exam, I think I don't have much to say on it because it is again which you need to discuss with NPTEL and then to get clarified, because my role here there is very limited. How they will conduct the exam, those arrangements are done only by NPTEL. As someone who teaches the course, I set the questions, I share with them, they put it up, and then the other things are to be discussed only with them.
So Supreme Court E committee, is it the same for AI or there is a different?
No, there's nothing like specific E committee for AI as such. The E-Courts committee or the E-Courts modernization project is something that is very digital oriented reworking of the Indian judicial system and the judicial administration. So AI is just only one part of it. If you go through that project document, which I think is available, which I think I also shared, you will find that AI is there as a component. It is not that AI is driving the entire e-courts modernization. E-courts modernization also does a lot of things, which begins with digitization of the courts, digitization of records, and then streamlining procedures, and then streamlining processes. Unless you do these things, by bringing simply AI won't make miracles. So AI will have a role, AI will have a specific role. But then AI is not the panacea, nor AI can be the major focus of e-courts modernization in India. We can do that once we have reached a critical stage or a critical mass where we are more or less 90% digitized, or our courts are fully equipped to deal with AI tools and then AI systems. Till that happens, the first preliminary work, the basic infrastructure on digitization has to be done. It is not that AI can be simply dropped from above and it will solve all the problems. Some basic things will take time to develop. They have to be tested, they have to be tried, and then they have to be more perfect, or at least they should ensure that they do not have any major problems in the digitization process. So it will have a role, but not immediately.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
May I, sir?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Sir, I'm interested in knowing your thoughts if India should consider having its own AI Act.
It should in one way, but again the question is that what exactly you want to do with an AI Act? Because bringing an AI Act at this stage, according to some perspectives, will be counterproductive because it will also kill a lot of innovation. It will make compliance very difficult and then very expensive for people. And more importantly, even EU, with all the EU AI Act, is trying to now make them less cumbersome or less critical, or in the sense that some of the liability and certain things they want to waive, not exactly waive, but they want to soften the approach. Because the problem is, if you have an all-encompassing tough act to begin with, it will act as a disincentive for people to develop applications or even to apply AI across sectors. So whether to go for a comprehensive AI Act or whether we should go for sectoral guidelines, or whether we should try to have a broad regulatory framework without an act is a big question that a lot of literature is available on that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Good morning,
Sir,
sir.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, what is your take on the digital personality rights? Like Aishwarya Rai and other celebrities are
So
approaching
that is
the
again
court.
is an evolving area. I mean, it's not digital personality right. It is the personality rights which
Yes.
have expanded in digital area. That's all. There again, lot of things are happening. Again, it is left to the courts to look at what exactly these rights are covered and what exactly are the issues when they face. For example, whether the digital personality rights cover so extensive that anyone who draws a caricature or a cartoon or anyone will be covered by that, or anyone certain things, in the sense that it's again in a question of balancing. What exactly you want to cover by personality rights, and then what exactly you want to protect people from misusing their identity, their charisma, and then their public image. So it is again a very evolving area. We will know what exactly the limitations and then the bounds of these personality rights maybe in a 5 to 6 years. But right now the tendency, or right now the trend, is that many people want to take that more as a protective mechanism, so that they can again go to court if someone puts up a deep fake, or if someone distorts the videos they have already produced, or someone does that, use their personality for false marketing, or to induce people to do certain things which in the name of someone else. So this is more like a protective mechanism, more like to safeguard against misuse. People are going for it. The positive side of that is different. But then right now the tendency is to more to go for a protective mechanism.
What about the rights of the people who have died, sir? Like now people are bringing the persons alive in the election campaigns also.
So those things are not yet fully decided, or those things are not yet fully evaluated by the law. But again, nobody brings a person alive in law. The sense that what you do is that AI generated videos. And then when they acknowledge AI generated videos, it is becoming clear that more such tools will happen. And then let us also realize AI is not the only way you can do that. You can also do that in digital image, digital manipulation. You can do that with special effects in films and all. So AI is just one more tool in the broad toolbox available to do some certain audiovisual effects. So how to regulate them, whether to regulate them, what sort of disclosure, or what sort of claims of responsibility or claims of non-responsibility should be made, again, is a very broad thing which is again evolving. Of course, the problem is that technology goes far advanced by the time we think about trying to regulate them.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Myself, Vikram. I'm a practicing lawyer in Delhi. Sir, it's a real-time situation. I'm coming across judgments of the trial courts as also the Delhi High Court, that because the language used by the learned judge in the court and in the judgment is totally different. So when I check the AI content in the judgment, it is coming more than 60%. So do you think that it's a ground of review or ground of appeal, or both? And I don't
I
want to
don't
make it
think it can be a
sensational.
ground for appeal, because it will be very difficult for you to prove that AI content is 60% or 70%, because there are no standards, there are no tools that have been approved to cross-check that. That is first point. Second is it's very clear that no judge has been asked, or no judge has been permitted to use AI tools to write judgments. In fact, the idea has been to discourage use of AI tools to write judgments, or to even use them by the judges as a practice of writing drafts judgments. So that may not and that cannot be a ground of appeal. That could be easily dismissed, because the onus is on you to prove that 60% is written by AI. But again, you won't be able to really prove it to the satisfaction of the court, the sense that you cannot prove it 100%. Second thing is that to what extent judges use AI, whether the AI tools are really used in judgments to write in full or to write in part, we really don't know. But then again, that depends upon the evolving guidelines, or how the Supreme Court wants to frame guidelines for use of AI. For example, if a lawyer does use AI, and then if he or she discloses that, then that will not absolve them from the liability and responsibility. But then if they get caught on account of wrong citations or on account of non-existent facts and cases, they're still liable. But when it comes to judgments, or when it comes to judges, it is not all that easy to really predict, or all that easy to really pinpoint and then prove that judgments were written by AI. So it is again a very gray area.
So do you mean to say we are remediless, neither review nor
No,
appeal?
I'm not saying you are remediless, but then what I'm saying is that you chances of proving it very remote, and then there's also the possible that it may not be the right ground to contest a judgment, because that may not be the right ground. He can contest the judgment, can go for an appeal on different things, but then not exactly on this, because there are no specific guidelines, there are no specific ways he can prove it. In the sense that there is no precedent case where such a thing has been argued upon and then proved and accepted by the court. Court can always say that your presumption is wrong, your textual analysis is wrong, and then no AI tools were used. It could be simply a matter of coincidence or something that which could happen, in the sense that any typical sentence I can write in 10 different ways. But then it could also mean that AI could have used 2 or 3 of them. That doesn't mean that no human can think on those lines. So that may not be the right ground to contest. And if you really want to do that as the right ground to contest, you may lose the appeal as well. You should find out better modes or better grounds to contest.
Sir, good morning.
Yeah.
My doubt is whether AI has any impact on judiciary system. Will it have?
It will have impact. Obviously, it's a question of how much of the AI we are planning to use, and what sort of tools, what sort of mechanisms are to be going to be developed. AI can have a very positive impact in the judicial system. It can help in doing a lot of things, being streamlined, organizing things, scheduling things. It can also be very helpful in the judges dealing with different cases in a much more efficient way. But again, these are very speculative. One cannot predict as to only this will happen or only that will happen.
And sir, does the role of advocate will reduce because of AI in
No,
judiciary
just now
department?
I think just now I argued that question, or I said, as of now, the developing of AI tools is likely to impact the role of the advocates who do preliminary drafting, file applications for bails, or very routine, very preliminary ones. AI tools can do them much more efficiently, much more fast, and more importantly, they can also do them in a much more what one would say effective way. So for advocates who are specializing only in that, or who do only in this, it will be very difficult for them to survive if AI tools proliferate in the next 5 to 10 years. But then for others who are into broader areas, or who do much more than typical filing bail petitions or do preliminary work, yes, they will be able to survive. So nobody can take it granted that I will do only this, and then that cannot be taken over or that cannot be substituted by AI. But again, it depends upon how much of use of AI is being encouraged and then accepted by the courts in the future.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, while giving any command of prepare a legal notice or petition in AI, it is giving a standard format of international. While we are practicing district courts, some procedure will be there. How can we get that procedure through AI, sir?
No. Procedure means what? The AI tools will be able to give you anything in a standard format, in the sense that using AI tools, any format can be easily be prepared, and then it could be substituted, in the sense that it's a question of format, or it's a question of something which should be in the specific legal way. For example, it should be addressed to, it should be formatted in this way, which AI tools can do.
But presentation is standard format is
Yeah, that
getting it.
AI tools do. AI tools do a lot of standard draft formatting. AI tools do a lot of some background work and all. AI tools can do a lot of things which are very standard, in the sense that the tools need to be very specific for it. That's all. It is not that it could not be done by AI tools. AI tools can draft appeals. AI tools can do analysis. AI tools can do precedent analysis. AI tools can draft preliminary appeals. AI tools can do the first level and second level of drafting. So those things are possible. There's nothing unusual about it. What I question is that who is responsible, how correct are they, and then whether should be disclosed to the courts as to we have used the AI tools or to what extent, and then which tool we have used, that you need to disclose. Of course, I mean, right now there are no guidelines, but then if you really get caught, it becomes your responsibility. That's all. So you
for which
take
you
both the
have to
risk and benefit. That's all.
for a format or of a district level court, we have to give all the inputs to whichever we must.
No, see, that's what I said. It depends on the tool. There are a lot of tools, but then the tools are again very specific. Tools are again today are more used by large law firms. But then if you look around the market, if you look in the legal tech, you may be able to find some applications which may be very useful to you, or some law firm may be offering some services that you give us the background, you give us all this, we will format, we will prepare the petition in the standard way the courts want, and which you should be able to file. So it's not the question of what tools are being available. It's the question of what exactly you want to do. And then going for AI tools for judiciary, lower judiciary, like municipal courts and district courts, I'm not very sure, because how many law firms will be interested in doing that type of one? Because now big law firms do not operate at that level. So this again you have to really find out. Some tools may be available, but again subject to the question of risk and then benefit.
Sir, can we get to any model paper of November 1st exam, sir?
No, that I won't be able to do because I'm not in the I'm more an academic. I'm not into evaluating AI tools, or I'm not into evaluating them in terms of their practical applications or how much relevant for a practical people. That I think you need to really talk to people who are in the legal tech field.
Because we are not having any idea how the paper model is there.
No, which paper model?
Artificial intelligence, law and practice.
No, regarding the course, you should talk to NPTEL. The NPTEL will be able to give you guidelines. They have already shared guidelines on that. We should talk to NPTEL, not me.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, one more.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any AI rules for developing AI Indian legal related applications or startups?
No. Applications for startup means what?
Suppose I want to put a startup on AI related things. So what are the rules and regulations followed to?
There are no rules. You see, startups, anyone can do a startup on anything. Whether you are using AI or not, there are no specific rules on startups. In the sense that, you need to find out what exactly your startup wants to do, and then what are the things, whether you want to go into manufacture or offering services, or whether you want to develop a software, and then it depends on. So there are no specific rules on software, particularly on startups, particularly on AI. It's up to you. Again, it's up to the authorities. Again, it's up to the funding agencies or the venture capitalists to fund you or not. So AI is not part and parcel of the startup preliminary level. You can use AI to develop a good startup proposal. You can use AI to market it. You can use AI as a tool or AI as a component of your startup business. It's up to you. That's all. But that doesn't mean that all startups should use AI. It's again depends on the need of the business, need of the person who wants to use it. That's all.
Okay,
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, like my question is like AI is developing now, like it is not developed like fully, but it is developing overall, like globally it is developing. So law is also developing. Like we have any country, like we have any country who is like a proper law on AI, not proper, but like a good law and a stringent law, like to whom India can follow and make their law better.
No, there is nothing like law on AI, or there's nothing like, a specific law on AI. Different countries, as I have pointed out in the course or the course itself, different institutions are evolving guidelines, they're evolving frameworks. So this is more like a work in progress. And again, it is not something like that, you will have an AI Act for law, legal profession, then everything will be solved. It will never happen like that. As technology progresses, as applications proliferate, different institutions, whether the Supreme Court or the High Courts or the board itself or the government will take a call and then decide. That's all. It is not something you will start with an AI Act to regulate the use of AI in law and judiciary. It will take time for things to develop, to get tested, and then to get into a broader application across various subsectors in law. So it is not a simple task of bringing a one act or one regulation to cover each and everything. Yes.
Sir, my question is, do we have any country like who is
No,
actually
that is
like
what I'm saying. No country has got anything specific like AI Act for law because bar councils, different bar associations have come up with different ethical guidelines and principles. Again, judges, they have their own guidelines, ethical principles, but there's nothing like a broad comprehensive act or a broad umbrella framework for AI and law in any country. There are countries like China which are using AI, but then in judiciary extensively, but then they are again governed by their own internal guidelines and then internal regulations.
yes, sir.
But if the decision has to made as to in which area the AI tool is more needed and which area
No,
it can
that again it
bring more
depends on which
impact and
where the AI tools are more needed. That again depends upon what the priorities of the courts and the government. So it will be very difficult. For example, AI tools can be very effective when you have a lot of cases where certain things can be standardized or when the data is available so that the decision making can be quickly done using AI. But should we really want to use AI for decision making or for judgment writing? And again, it's left to the highest court in the country and then the various high courts to decide, as well as ultimately for the bar as well, and then the litigants to decide. The bar may think that by using too much of AI, judges are abdicating their responsibility or finding an easy way out, although it may be efficient. So bar again will have its own views. But then this is a very developing area where it's really impossible to predict. We'll have to really wait and see as to how things develop.
but sir, like for example in the traffic challan case,
No, the
so
traffic
AI
challans have nothing to, they are like typical ones where the manual process is being substituted. That's all.
But sir,
There
AI
is a
tools could
capture,
have been used to
there is a
manage
visual
traffic
evidence which
jams,
points to
could
that.
have been used to ensure that people uh, who get injured get benefits and medical benefit. But now only AI is being used only to challans for
No,
challans. There
no,
are so many
using
areas where
AI
AI
tools
could
for
have been
challan
used.
is a very preliminary, very basic level application because there is a specific evidence available that you have violated the law. But for other things, to what extent AI evidence should be used or should not be used is a matter of debate. Then it is easy for the government to use AI where the traffic violation is happening on a large scale and then deploying too much of police personnel into that will not be the right solution because the police person could be used for different, much more preferable areas. So what application of AI will develop in future in case of accidents and all, we cannot simply say right now. In future years, just as you get challan, there could be cameras, there could be AI tools that could be used to analyze a situation and then to fix responsibility or to fix the criminal liability. These things will happen over a period of time.
So good evening, sir. Can I, am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, someone is raising the hand. So Yashram, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Uh, uh, what's your opinion on dependency of lawyers in future? Because the AI compete that we discussing.
No, I'm not able to hear you properly. Can you repeat it or can you at least, type it in the chat box?
Yeah, I'll type for you.
Okay. So the dependency on lawyer in future on AI, I have just answered, so I do not see any point in repeating it again. Then there's a question which is again, which is the halfly done data, how to train that in big data. I think the question is not complete. AI rules or acts, which I have just answered, and then yeah, AI, there are no AI rules for developing AI Indian legal system. It's open for all. You don't need any permission or you don't need any license to to develop one. No, see, the constitution is not a data. Constitution is something different. For example, constitution analysis, you can use AI. AI will be able to, you can train AI systems on the constitution as well as on the various cases that have been decided on fundamental constitutional principles. So there could be a AI tool that specializes or that focuses on constitutional law and then cases on constitution. So that is possible, but then for that you would need um, access to the previous cases or the key judgments on the various constitutional provisions and then the constitutional principles and the constitutional law. So that is possible, and then there are people who would be working on it. So it is not a simply a matter of big data, because it is like developing a specific tool, then the tool also should understand what exactly the constitution is about or what exactly the function of the constitution. Of course, there is good scope to do comparative analysis, precedents from other courts as well. Yeah, AI can make rules, AI can draft legislations, AI can draft petitions, AI can make rules. Like in a decision-making tree, you can convert the codes, you can convert regulatory systems. Once you feed them, once you tell them, AI can redraft them, AI can make rules, depending upon the objective or depending upon the task you want to do it. Right now, AI is not being used to make rules in the sense that no, AI is not drafting legislation or AI is not drafting regulatory principles and guidelines. But in future, it could happen. So these assignments and all, I think, please check with the NPTEL team. I am not the one who will be able to guide you properly in that. And then deciding on traffic signals is more to do with use of visual evidence and then trying to tell you that you have violated this rule. But you can still contest it, you can still challenge it, you can still say that it is not my fault or the evidence is wrong or something which you are trying to point out or fix responsibility to me is not applicable because I did not violate any rule. So you can still prove it. You can still that it is not my vehicle or I did not violate it. So deciding on traffic signals is a very preliminary one. You cannot think that or you cannot say that it is the major application of AI in any specific uh, uh, field like law. Because AI is not being used to decide on the criminality of other acts, or AI is not being used to convict a person or to acquit a person.
Oh, sir,
But the
I'm audible.
case load,
Yeah.
So my question is like, if we talk about the AI now, with the law perspective, we are trained to machines to get some information. Like I'm drafting
I'm writing some draft one or draft two and uploading it to AI. So what about the data security and privacy of that documentation? What I'm giving to the AI?
No, it depends on, for example, if you're using LLM, legal LLM, there will be always be disclaimers which would come with that. So again, you are bound by that. Again, for what purpose you are doing it? For example, if you are using AI tool and then drafting it and then uploading it to a court portal, you still take responsibility. You still you are liable, and then you take the full responsibility for what you submit to the court. Otherwise, the court will take it to task if you were found wanting, or if you have misled the court by giving wrong information, or tried to give wrong precedents or non-existent cases, or made a big blunder by making lots of errors in the draft or the one which you uploaded. So it is again a question of what disclaimers the developers or the product which you use comes with, and then your own responsibility and then your own liability as a lawyer or as an advocate.
So we can say like it can be while using the AI, it will be the risk factor.
There are risk factors because you may not know. Without you knowing, the AI tool may be training, or AI tool may be using it to train itself in future.
Yeah. True.
But again, you need to read the fine print as to what exactly the tool, the developers of the tool have offered you, and then what are the risks and what are the liabilities they are willing to take it up when you use the tool, and what exactly gets transferred to you in the process.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any course expected from next semester related to AI using engineering side, like coding related things?
No,
I think this
that
course,
again you need to check with NPTEL, because I am offering only a course on AI and law and justice. But then for engineering and all, there are a lot of courses in NPTEL which are directly or indirectly related to machine learning, AI,
yes,
and
sir,
then
yes, of course,
digital.
but
You
not
please go
not
through
on
the catalog,
completely.
or you talk
Yes.
NPTEL, they'll be able to help you out.
Okay, sir. I think you are from lawyer side. I think you are giving more content, but like the engineering side, so we can expect any course.
No, that is
Yes.
again what I said. From the engineering side, you need to really check with NPTEL, because
Okay.
NALSAR is a law university. We are not a
Okay, sir.
technical university. Technical
Okay, sir.
university is like IITs are made. If they offer, you should really check as to what courses they are offering.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Through
sir.
NPTEL or otherwise.
Yes, sir. Because I think lawyers and CSE students, I think CSE people are integrated. They can go for the
That
course.
again, you see, depends upon. For example, some of the IITs are working on some specific applications related to law, but then that is more from an engineering and technical perspective.
Yes,
So
sir.
those things, if you really want to pursue, you need to really check with them. You need to really check with them as to who is doing what type of research, and then what type of tools they are planning to develop.
So because legal side, suppose if you are learning, suppose I am from CSE background, suppose I want to develop an AI tool, but the legal terms are very difficult to understand. So that is
No,
also one of the.
the
Yes, sir.
point I'm trying to tell you is that this is something which is interdisciplinary. So any tool which will be developed will have people who are trained in law, people who are trained in engineering or data science or machine learning. So the teams, they work with multiple people with multiple experiences and then multiple things.
Yes,
So
sir, yes,
that is not the thing which you need to really check with them.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So is there any impact assessment report available about how AI is impacting and how?
Impacting in what? There are a lot of literature available on AI, on employment, AI, and other things. But again, you have to really dig. You have to really find out as to what has been written. Some of them are based on case studies. For example, AI in healthcare, there are a lot of case studies available. A lot of literature available on various tools and then various LLMs which are being used in health, in diagnostics, and all. And the same thing for other sectors, whether it is finance, marketing, or banking, any field, insurance. There are a lot of literature available on impact of AI. No, as of now, through NPTEL, I am not taking any course. Near future, I am not sure because this course was meant only for a specific semester, which started in August and which is more or less come to an end now. So the next semester, I am not sure. I mean, as of now, I have anything to offer. I mean, near future, again, it depends on what sort of, in the sense, subject to other things. Yes, may, yes, may not. But if NPTEL reruns this course, people may be able to join it in the next semester or in the next cycle in which they know allot courses for people to be trained. That again, it's up to NPTEL.
Sir, I have a question. How does law defines AI? It's the same technical definition what other non.
There is nothing like law defining AI because different countries, different acts have different definition, which have dealt with in the course. Like US AI Act has taken a definition, and then UNESCO has given AI when it comes to AI ethics a definition of AI. So deeper it is again. There is no universal definition of AI as such, but different acts, different regulations, depending upon the need, and then context they define AI. Because use AI Act is a very broad one. So it has defined AI in a very broad way, or it's something like that cuts across different applications in different sectors and then for different purposes. And then OECD's definition of AI is widely accepted or broadly used as a very standard definition. But a technical definition again would vary from context to context, from need to need, and then more from the institution to institution. So you cannot define AI and law as simply this. Broadly, you can define AI as a this, and then when it comes to law or specific, in this act or for this purpose, we define these are the things, or we do not cover these things under this, something like that. So how AI is being defined is again left for the more contextual. For example, if there is going to be an act that deals solely with predictive policing, which then that act may say that this is specific to predictive policing, and then use of digital tools and then AI in that. And then the general other thing may exclude this because two acts cannot cover the same thing. So the overlap could be avoided.
But again, sir, this is also the fact that AI is no more, no much more than a tool itself, right?
No, AI depends upon how do you define it. AI is much more than a tool. You know, the idea is that we are not defining AI in a very limited way. The EU Act defines AI in a very broad way. So is the definition given by OECD.
Okay.
Now, there is a thing which I want to mention here. See, the closed loop automated tools need not always be based on AI. That could be depending upon various other things. Like, for example, it could be a mechanical one or electromechanical one where AI may not be even used. So, closed loop automation or automation itself precedes AI at least a few decades by few decades. So, AI should be taken into account, or certain things can be attributed to AI only when the definition of AI or the point for the purpose for which AI is being used has been done through AI. For example, an electromechanical tool like a traditional car or electrical mechanical tool like a traditional lorry can be done without AI also. So closed loop automation need not be AI, but then closed loop automation can be facilitated by AI in a different way. And then AI can partially get integrated into semi-automated mechanisms, semi-automated loops. So again, it depends upon where exactly AI fits in or what exactly AI does. Is it part and parcel, or is it something that is incremental, or is it something that decides everything, makes a huge difference?
Sir, agree, sir. Why? Because that camera example, the road traffic fine camera, it can be a simple closed loop automation where
it can be closed loop automation. Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. It could be a closed loop automation where AI is not being used. But AI can be integrated into closed loop automation for a specific purpose. Like
the
for
same
example,
use case can be like if the guy who is violating the speed can be given renewal of his license in next time or not, that can be extended for AI to detect
that is
disease.
exactly, see, there are two things here. One, you can use AI to identify the one who has violated and then pay a fine and then get away with it, or send a challan, or send a notice, get the money done. We simply don't use it. But AI can also be used to look at how many violations or how many traffic violations specifically, what nature you have done in the last 5 years, and then to decide as to whether to extend your license or to extend your license with a condition, or to ensure that you do not end up creating damages, or you do not end up resulting accidents. You should take it up a higher premium, or you should have a higher insurance policy. But then that again is a way the government will have to regulate renewal of licensing versus liability versus individual responsibility for driving a vehicle. So it could happen both ways. It could be very preliminary one. It could be very sophisticated decision supporting decision making system as well. In the sense that if you have violated 5 times, major violations of 5 times in 3 years, then your license will not be renewed unless you go for a higher liability or you are willing to give an undertaking that you will be careful in future, and if you again violate the rules repeatedly, you are willing to forego your right to get license extended. So this again is a question of how the government wants to look at it, how the people want to accept those rules and all. So if there are no further questions, we'll wind up now. Anybody from NPTEL team?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if there are no further questions, shall we wind it up now?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for clarifications. If you need my email address or contact, please check with NPTEL team. They'll be able to help you out. Thank you again for your interest. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
NPTEL
sir.
team, I think I have sent one email regarding some query. If you can please forward or reply to that. I'm not sure whether you guys are receiving or not.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.